YouTube, what it do? Shout out to Steph is Cold, man. We appreciate your content, bro. Yeah, listen, so this is my third video, right? It's my third video, okay? And my first two videos was my intro and what I wanted to talk about and some things that I've experienced. So, sort of setting my grounding in this YouTube area or space. And so that's what I'm going to do. So it's a couple of things that I'm going to dive into and get into. A couple of things I want to talk about, I want to share. Let's talk about, I'm gonna tell you guys an experience that I had, okay? And I say, some will call it a dream. I will call it an experience. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I know that I had it. I know that to me, it was very real. It was very eye-opening. And I'll just get right into it. So I remember if I remember the experience, it picked up that I was walking through an abandoned church, okay? Now, I say abandoned church because it was the traditional church with the stained glass windows and the big ceilings, cathedral ceilings, and tapestries and such that resembled that of a cathedral or a church. Okay, and I remember walking through there. It was very dark, and I remember all of a sudden that there was this individual that began to battle with me and begin to contend with me. But we were using powers that we weren't fighting. There was some wrestling, but there wasn't any punching. There wasn't any guns or anything like that. Unbeknownst to me at the time of me having this experience, I was using powers that I didn't know that I had. And I was using them, and this individual was contending with me. They were contending with me, okay? So let's just call this person a dark witch, okay? Was contending with me. And by the power that I had, I overcame this dark witch. Now, so what happened was another dark witch came that was more powerful than the other one was, begin to contend with me, okay? And this one was a little more, I just knew this by knowing. I don't know how I knew, I just knew that this one was more powerful than the one that I had just overcame, and that we were contending, and I was using power, and I could see these colors coming from each other. They were purple, and it was kind of like, it looked like dust, but then it looks like a cloud, and all of this crazy stuff or whatever, right? So all of a sudden, I hear a glass break, and I look up, and who ascends down into the church but my grandmother. Now, mind you, my grandmother had passed away probably 2 years before this, okay? My grandmother bust out of the ceiling, but I heard the glass break, and she literally glided down from the top of the church. She had on like a blue scarlet dress, and the dress just flowed. It was like a layered type of dress, and it flowed. It was my grandmother, but it was like she wasn't 96 when she passed. It was like she was 29 or 25. She looked between 25 and about 30. She was young. Her hair was black and it was long, but I knew it was my grandmother. It looked like my grandmother. And so she grabs me by the arm and she says to me, "This fight is not yours." She grabs me, we ascend up out of the church, and we land on solid ground. Now, when I look to the ground, I look and there is almost like I'm on like a cleft of a rock. if that makes sense. I'm on the cleft of a rock, and my foot almost slips off of the rock. Well, I looked down and I didn't realize how close I was to the end of this. But I look up, and to my horror, I want to say, I was more startled in the dream. I wasn't scared. Any time in the dream experience, whatever you want to call it, I was not scared. What I was startled. And this really blew my mind. When I looked up, and I looked up in the sky, I saw tornadoes, multiple tornadoes. I saw like an ocean in the sky. Like I saw tidal waves as far as my eyes could cover. I saw trucks, I saw houses, I saw tornadoes, I saw wind, meaning that I saw the debris of wind blowing. And I never saw anything like that. My mind couldn't comprehend it, what I saw. And I saw these giant tornadoes, so massive. I've never seen anything. I've never seen I personally never seen a tornado, okay, in my life. But to like personally speaking, I've seen one on TV, of course, but to see one in person, I've never seen one. But this was like I was there. It almost felt like to the point where I could touch it, but I couldn't touch it because it was from a distance or far away. But nonetheless, I saw this and I was blown away. I was blown away. And as I was blown away looking at this, I was, and I began to look down. I saw the cleft of the rock, and I began to turn to my right. And my grandmother tells me, watch your step, be careful. So I'm watching my step, and she says to me, so we walked down this cliff or whatever, and the world was in shambles. It was, the world as we know it was no more. It was everything was destitute. There were no buildings. There were no businesses. There were no all of that civilization as we know it were gone. And there were, to my knowing, in this knowing, I knew that there were a handful of people left. Okay. And I didn't know what happened. I didn't know, I didn't know anything at this moment, but I knew that there were a remnant, if you want to use that word, of people left, right? So we go to the right, and she tells me, she says, watch your step. She said, but we have to change our clothes. We have to put on or disguise. She didn't use the word disguise. She said we have to put on clothes so we'll blend into the rest of the survivors. That's what she told me. And I remember looking at these clothes. They look like graves clothes or clothes that a bum would wear, right? And we had on these clothes, but we were protecting something that it was apparent that something was, if they saw us, even in our regular clothes, that we would be exposed, that there was some type of I don't know if it was light or some type of glow or something like that. But we had to put on these grave clothes, these I'm saying grave clothes, but bummer's clothes, right? Or hobo's clothes, however that looks, right? But I remember them being rags. I remember looking at my grandmother and they were rags. And I had on rags. And I said, why? And she said, we have to warn the ones that are left of what's coming. And that's when I literally woke up. Maybe some other stuff happened. I remember going into villages where people were pouring soup maybe, or trying to find stuff to feed kids and people and stuff like that. But I woke up, okay? And I didn't want to categorize it as a dream because just saying it as a dream could take away the novelty of the impact that it had on me. It shook me to my core. I was not able to go back to sleep again for probably another 2 to 3 hours. And all I could do was ponder what I just saw. It literally was like I was taken somewhere and brought back. That's the way it felt. Okay. So I wanted to share that experience with you. I don't claim to be a Nostradamus or some type of, predictor of the future or anything like this, some great prophet or anything like that. I'm just a guy wanting to share my experience. And I'll share other experiences that I've had and many other things on this channel. One of the things I want to talk about on my channel is the advancement of AI technology. And I think the vast majority of people as a whole are asleep, are unaware, and some literally don't care about this. But it's going to hit us so fast. I think that the advancement of AI and how we do life, how we do business, how we go to the doctor, how we buy groceries. In the next 10 to 15 years, AI is going to affect all of that. And I think that if we don't have some type of understanding, even if it's at a base level of what's coming or what is going to happen, I think we're going to be lost in the sauce pretty much. So that's my thought on it. Again, I'm not any conspiracy theorist or, this type of person, but I just wanted to share my experience. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was eye-opening for me. The impact that it had on me, I was shaken for several days. So it really had an impact on me, and it just changed. It changed everything for me. It changed how I projected the future, how I looked at the future, to be honest with you. And so I'm excited about, sharing more stuff with you guys and being on and gaining followers and us talking, having conversation about various topics. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about sharing, talking, doing all of that, and getting to know you guys and us building a community together. I'm excited about sharing ECC and Elevated Concepts and what we do at our consulting firm and how we help people get to their next place, their next level, whether it be a job, whether it be, you just need next steps in life. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about growing that, developing that. I'm here to help people. I just really want to help people. I just really want to do my part in the community to help people. I want to help people advance. I love to see good people win. And you'll see that, and we'll grow, we'll develop, we'll advance. This is the army of one now, but we'll grow to the army of thousands, even millions maybe. I'm excited to take this joint venture with you guys, and sky's the limit for us. So thank you for your time, and talk to you guys soon. God bless.